Hi, welcome to another episode of Capizzi's Corner. I'm here today with Colette Sikorski, and she's an agent out of our Howard Hanna Amherst clearance office here on 6000 Sheridan Ave. So, welcome.
Hi, thank you.
So, let's get started. So, what originally drew you to real estate, and was there a defining moment where you knew this is what you wanted to do? Tell us your story.
Well, my mother she got her license in 1978, which made me years old. And so I just always knew that it was something that I wanted to do. I went to open houses with her. My father was a builder, so we did a lot of home shows. So I was really thrown into it at a young age. And it was something that I just always knew I wanted to do. But I did go away to college for 1 year. I went to Niagara University because all of my friends were going away. So I thought I'd give it a try. It really wasn't for me. At the time, my mom owned a Century 21 franchise.
Ooh.
So I went to work for her at 18. I think I was just turning 19. And started from the bottom up, started as a secretary. Then I worked my way up and got my license when I was just about 20. So I was selling houses at 20. So I've been in it for 33 years.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's awesome. It's cool starting from kind of the ground up too, because then you appreciate everything and you know the ins and outs. You can navigate it a little better, right?
And I've really been through all types of markets, living vicariously through my mom. Like when we would go on road trips, my brother would be in the back talking to me, and my parents would be in the front seat talking real estate, and I would be like, quiet, I want to listen to Mom and Dad. So I would just kind of, listen and learn that way. And it was always something that I was going to do. I did take a break from it. When I was in my mid-20s, I took a break because I felt like people weren't using me as much as I thought they should be using me because I was so young. Mm-hmm. And I was still living at home, and I didn't really own a house, obviously. So I was like, well, they're not really taking me seriously. That's what I was thinking. So I went to work for Adelphia Community Network, which
I remember Adelphia.
Yep. And I started their real estate show because I knew all the realtors. And there's a bunch of agents still here in this office. Like Joe David was my client, Joyce and Bob Greenwich. So going through it, I've known them for so many years. But so I was able to start that channel, which kept me involved
in real estate,
in the real estate industry. And I still kept my license. And then when that ended, I had just gotten married and decided I wanted to be a loan officer. I wanted to try something different. And so I started working for Ken Wojnowski, who is the president of First Priority.
Shout out Ken.
Like a full circle. And so I did that for probably maybe 7 years. And then my son was born. Our son was born. And then I got out of it and decided, why not get back into it, selling full time? And here I am.
So you truly know all facets of a transaction, pretty much.
Yes.
You taking the bar, or
no, not
not
yet,
going to
right?
real estate?
Not yet. Maybe.
So tell me about your first ever deal, and what was a win, or what did you learn, or
Well, since this is a family show, I won't tell you exactly what I said, but you get the good or bad. You get the good, the bad, and the ugly from me. That's what I always say, and I'm always real honest, which could be a downfall, but I think people like it that way.
You need that, yeah.
And the first couple I ever worked with, their names were Jim and Linda, and we had looked at a bunch of houses, and they lost the one house by $1,000. And it wasn't the type of market where we had 12 offers. It was like you just go in there, you sit down with the seller, you're negotiating, and they wouldn't come up. And then the next house, this was back before computers and everything. This was more when there were books. And when people would find their houses in the Home Finder, when they would come out on Saturday, and it was a thick book. It was like there was 40 pages in the Home Finder. And so one of the gentlemen who had it listed is in our other Sheridan Drive office. So he was an agent on the other side. It was his listing. So we were like $500 off. And it was really crass and kind of crude at the time, but I was young, so I can say that. And I was just like, you either gotta or get off the pot. Like $500, it's like ridiculous.
Is that worth it?
I mean, come on, this is a great house. And they ended up going up the $500, and they stayed there for over 30 years, have their children, and they now have relocated to South Carolina. So that was an interesting deal, but I learned a lot. the water burst in the bedroom, and
Ooh.
we walked in for the final walkthrough, and the hardwood floors were buckled. So there was a lot of negotiation on that
Sure,
part.
they fixed
so
that in 30 years.
They did. They in order to close on the house, we had to have that done. So that delayed closing. So it was just a lot of life lessons that you learn throughout.
Learned everything right off.
Right off the bat. So it was fun. How not to talk to a buyer.
And they probably made that $500 back in equity over 30 years.
Oh my gosh,
I would
please.
think so, right?
I think they paid like $122 for it back in the 90s, and I think they sold it for $425. So
yeah. So is that $500?
They did okay.
It's crazy though, because we deal with that now.
Right.
It's hey, go another grand, and it's like and then
you
think 10 years down the road, it's like
just stop getting a Starbucks latte one day a week. You know what I mean? Like you'll be able to afford it.
You can't even say a pizza anymore.
No,
that's,
please, you're taking out a home equity for a pizza and chicken wings.
So outside of real estate, what would you say you're passionate about?
I really love fashion.
Ooh.
And so that's, I would say my son, but now he just graduated from high school, so those days are kind of gone from soccer and all that. I'm still passionate about him because he's going to be going to UB, but I really love fashion. Anything that has to do with fashion, I'm watching it. I'm up on the trends, and it's just something that I really I have like a little TikTok channel, and so it's all about fashion.
Love that.
But yeah, so I'm a fashionista.
Well, that kind of leads into my next question. What's something you think people don't know about you? We can't use fashion again.
I do not like to read.
Really?
You would think, like, being in real estate, read all these motivational books and all that stuff. I hate reading books. And I'll watch something on TV and I'm like, oh, that book sounds so good. I'll actually go on Amazon, buy the book, and the book sits on my nightstand.
Coffee
Oh,
holder?
yeah, coffee stain, water stain. So, yeah, reading books I do not like. And, yeah, it could be a downfall, but I do like podcasts. So, I'm a podcaster.
I'm an audiobook.
Yeah, I do like
the
audiobooks.
So.
Yeah, I do.
But
too.
I feel you in that.
Yeah.
When you're driving, it's easier to listen to a book than just, taking an hour to sit down and flip through pages, right?
Yeah, and then I'll get into like a book, and then my partner is my mother, so then she'll call me, like if I'm showing a house like in the north, like way up in the north towns, she knows I'm in the car for like 40 minutes, she'll call me, I'm like, I was just at a good spot in the book. So, but we play off of each other a lot, so.
That's my, Mom, I know you're not listening, so I can say this. She probably is. Moms call it the worst times, I feel. My mom calls it. She means well. I love it. I will never not answer the phone.
We'll miss the phone call at a bad time when they're not around to make a call. So
I'll never not answer the phone when my mom calls, but it's always like I could be doing nothing all day, and the 5 minutes I go to do something, my phone's ringing.
Oh, absolutely.
Never fails.
Never fails.
I get it. So,
it's either my mother or my husband.
But Mom, keep calling. I love you.
Yeah, keep calling.
So obviously everybody knows a real estate agent, right?
Yes.
So what would you say is something that would separate you from other real estate agents in this market?
Well, I am a social media fanatic, so I'm always doing stories on Facebook. I always friend my clients on my personal page because I just like
keep in touch with them.
Yeah, keep in touch with them, but then they know that I'm like a real person and I'm not stuffy, and I'm, I just like that, and a lot of my business is referral based. So you can always see a story. There's always a story on for me, and I'm always doing something on Instagram. So I think that might set me apart from like my generation of agents, not necessarily my age, but the length of time being in the business. So yeah, and it's shocking to know the statistics that only 6% of home buyers use the agent or remember who the agent is that sold them their house.
That's where social media comes into play.
It's mind-blowing. So we have a campaign where we mail out either email blast or something of value goes out to our clients in our farm every month. So we're always in front.
I think I like the like you said, I friend a lot of my clients on social media too, and it's nice when they're buying a house and they're like, oh, we want to put a fence in for the dog, or we want to do this to the kitchen, and then you see them post those updates, and it's like that's like so rewarding for me.
Oh, I love it.
I'll never forget. I had a client. It was 2 years ago, and we closed like 3 weeks before Christmas, like winter sale. She actually had a baby like during the transaction. Oh, gosh, so the husband was on the loan, the wife had a baby during in November, so they moved in, and I remember on they posted on Facebook. It was the agent's card and my card.
Oh, so cute.
Because we sent them like a little ornament or something like that, and they like tagged us, and I'm like, that's like we're a piece of that.
Yes,
like it's not just a transaction. Like it was, you're a piece of their house. Like,
and we spend so much time with them, you know, in
and
this
a high
market.
Emotion too.
It's high emotion. We're, you know, sometimes you're with a client for 6 months because of supply and demand. Sometimes you're with them for a year. You know, maybe you're looking in the spring market in 1 year, and then they just take time off, and then you're back
specific.
with them. Yep.
They know what they want.
And then you become like emotionally invested in them, in their life. They become emotionally invested in you.
You meet their parents, you meet
everything.
the friends,
and
siblings.
then you're like, I'm crying, I'm calling them crying, telling them that they got the deal. I'm, you know, full of goosebumps, and you know, when I hand the keys over to them, it's just, I'm high emotion when it comes to that, like good emotion.
That's great. Yeah, no, I know, I love that feeling.
Yeah,
and that's the high that you chase for the next deal and everything else, right?
Yeah, and any type of sales, that's the high.
So how would you say you best stay educated ahead of the curve? Because our industry is always changing, things like that. What are some tips or tricks that you do that keep you ahead of, you know, what's coming next?
I'm very, Marie and I both, we take a course a month.
Oh, okay.
So whether it's a designation course, just trying to keep, we have to take, you know, continuing ed like you. So we're always doing that. I do a webinar a week. Sometimes the webinars, you know, only a half an hour. Sometimes they're an hour. So why not take a webinar? And I just think you have to constantly educate yourself in this market and in this business, because things change. I mean, I've been doing this for a very long time, and every day I learn something new. And I think if you're not learning something new, something's wrong.
Yeah, for sure. So what would you say is like your ideal transaction? So buyer,
cash,
seller.
No bumps, no parents coming to do a walkthrough, no spouse arguing, and everything is.
That's just written it out, right?
I love first-time home buyers. I love now I'm at that age, so I'm in my 50s. I have friends that their children are buying houses, so I love helping my friends' children buy houses, because it's like the circle of life.
You have the second generation.
Yeah,
I helped you buy a home. Now I'm helping your kids.
Exactly, and like my mom, she has probably 4 generations now of family members. Like, it's insane, and I just love helping people and getting them, educating them. Like, you know, we might start out, they really want a ranch, and then they realize the 3 bedrooms are all next to each other. They have no privacy for any, you know, if they have out-of-town guests. Okay, now a ranch isn't it. So like that light bulb moment. So that's just really what I like.
I tell clients that all the time, which real estate agents probably don't like, but I'm like, look at as many homes as you can.
Yes.
Because even if you don't like the pictures, or it's not the area, or whatever you don't like about it going in, you're going to find that one thing you do like, and it's going to help you when you find your dream house.
Right.
You know, I remember I did that when I was looking at homes. Like, I hated Cape Cods because I'm taller, and I'd bang my head on the walls, and I'm like, but I'd go into these homes knowing I didn't like them, but still like, oh, I really like this kitchen layout, or I really like, you know, how the living room flows into here, or the basement does this, and it kind of helped me when I did find my house. Like, it had things I didn't know existed, especially first-time home buyers. You don't know.
You have to look at so many. And this couple I'm working with right now, we've looked at 6 houses in 1 week, which in this market with the supply and demand is crazy to think that 6 houses. But now we know exactly what they like and what they don't like. So now moving forward, we may not look at 6 houses in the next week coming up. We might just look at 1. Because we've just narrowed that down.
And how many times, like you said, you have someone where it's, I want this, you find a home that checks all the boxes, and they're like, I don't like anything about this.
Right.
And then it's like, all right, let's pull a 180 and find what you do like.
Right.
Because,
oh, absolutely.
you know, you look online, and you look at pictures, and you look at what other people have, and you think you want it.
Right.
Then you look, and you're like, I don't really want that.
Well, there's an old saying, it used to be buyers are liars. I don't like, that was back in the 80s where they would say, you know, I just think that they need to be educated in what they really like.
You don't know what you don't know.
Because you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah.
So, you know, you just don't know.
And how do you know you want something if you don't know it exists?
Exactly, and you got to stand there, and sometimes you take a half an hour, 45 minutes in a house. I don't care. I mean, I'll book it for an hour, however long. I kind of get the feeling of how long people take. Some people just breeze through it. You only have to do, you know, a 15-minute showing. Other people, they're looking at everything. It's got running water
in a bedroom. I'm good to go.
Right, exactly. And other people are like, we're in there for an hour. So, yeah.
So, all right, I got a few more questions, little lightning round here.
Okay.
We'll wrap this up. So, what's your dream vacation destination?
It used to be an Alaskan cruise, but now I want to do a Mediterranean cruise to like Italy, Greece, and then probably head over to Poland and Germany.
Nice.
Yeah, those are my two.
What's your go-to coffee order?
Cafe mocha from Tim Hortons.
Love cafe mochas.
Yeah.
It's a good call. Do you prefer text or phone call? I was like asking agents that. Or email.
I like a phone call.
Okay.
Because if you're working with an agent and they're texting you and they're telling you, sorry you didn't get the deal, you need to find a new agent. I'm sorry, you need to pick up that phone call. Yeah, you need to have that. I know that like your generation, a lot of texting goes on.
I like a phone call.
Well, because you're in the business that you're in, but I think you need, there's so much you miss in a text. Unless you're doing, every other line is an emoji, so they know what you're talking about. But I really like the voice.
There's nothing worse. Like when my friends make fun of me all the time because I like phone calls.
Yeah.
But a lot of times, like if we're planning something, or you're playing a golf round, or we're going to a concert and you're trying to figure out rides, I'm like, one call for 45 seconds can wrap up 20 texts.
Right.
And you're going back and forth, and it's you don't sometimes you misunderstand it.
Totally
so
agree.
I'm with you on the phone call thing. I'm team phone call.
Team phone call.
What is one word that clients would use to describe you?
Honest.
Love that.
Honest.
I would agree.
Yeah.
You're very honest.
Honest.
For like you said, good, bad, or ugly.
Brutally honest. No.
Good, bad, or ugly.
Good. I always say when I meet a new client, I'm like, you're going to hear the good, the bad, and the ugly from me. I'm not gonna mess around.
And then if someone was just zapped here from outer space and they landed in Buffalo, New York, what would you say is like one hidden gem of our city, or like a restaurant, or what would you say they have to do?
I really like, I am partial to Niagara Falls.
Okay.
I love Niagara Falls. Every season, Niagara Falls is my go-to. But I do like where that Labatt's blue.
Oh, the tower, the
grain
six-pack
thing
or whatever?
is. Yeah. I do like that in the summertime. That is really nice at night on a weekend.
Love it.
I like that too.
Love it.
Restaurants, and you're not going to go wrong.
We're known
Local,
for food.
go down Hurdle, Elmwood, Delaware, you're not going to go wrong.
The worse it looks, the better it's going to taste.
The better the food is. The greasier the spoon, the better it is.
If it smells like 30 years of grease, it's going to be the best meal you've ever had.
And it has to be really loud, so when you leave, you have no voice when you're done talking.
Is there anything else that we should know before we wrap up? Anything you want to say?
No, I just love what I do. I love working with my clients. I love working with my mother. She's a wealth of knowledge. I wouldn't be here without her, and we've been a consistent award-winning team since the get-go. So
perfect. Well,
thank you.
That's it. Thanks for coming on. That's all I got. And anything you need, real estate-wise, buy, sell, first-time home buyers, call Colette.
Thank you.
Thanks.